हेलो एवरीवन, नमस्कार। वेलकम टू माय चैनल मेंटरिंग एक्सीलेंस। तो इस चैनल में आप लोग को वीडियोस मिलेंगे लॉ के ऊपर और बहुत सारे रेलेवेंट टॉपिक्स के ऊपर। तो बने रहिए मेरे साथ और चलिए वीडियो को स्टार्ट करते हैं। Welcome back everyone. So today's video is the part 2 of the Indian Constitution. So today we will learn about the salient feature of the Indian Constitution and we will cover from Article 1 to Article 4. So let's start the video. So I have covered first the salient feature of the Indian Constitution. Here you will get 15 points. So the number 1 point is the written constitution. So we know that the Indian Constitution is a written one. Initially it has 395 articles in 22 parts and 8 schedules. At present it has approximately 470 articles in 25 parts and 12 schedules. Now next is the fundamental rights. So what we need to remember here is that the concept of fundamental rights has been taken from United States of America. Now next, it has started in the part 3 of the Indian Constitution from Article 12 to 36. Now it has been divided into 6 fundamental rights. Number 1 is the right to equality that starts from Article 14 to 18. Right to freedom from Article 19 to 22. Right to against exploitation from Article 23 and 24. Right to freedom of religion Article 25 to 28. Cultural and educational rights from Article 29 to 31. And right to constitutional remedies Article 32 and 35. Now we will know about the golden triangle of the Indian Constitution. So, the golden triangle of the Indian Constitution has Article 14 that is right to equality, Article 19 that is right to freedom, Article 21 that is right to life and liberty. So, if we say we have a triangle, so if we give here Article 14, here Article 19, and here Article 21. So this is the golden triangle of the Indian Constitution. So the third number of the salient feature of Indian Constitution is the preamble. It is like the introduction of the Constitution of India. It provides the objectives of the Indian Constitution. Now the constitution makers have given preamble as the place of right. Now in the initial line of the preamble there is written we the people of India. It denotes that the sovereignty lies in the people. We the people are responsible and the purpose. What is the purpose of preamble? It contains the enacting clauses. It declares the great rights and freedoms to all citizens. Now we know that the fundamental rights are given in the part 3 of the Indian Constitution. It starts from Article 12 to 36. And the freedoms are given in the Article 19 to 21. Now it declares a type of government polity established in the country. So in the Indian preamble, so in the Constitution of India, the preamble provides the type of government that is the parliamentary form of government. It throws light on the source of the Constitution, namely the people of India. So the source of the Constitution is the people of India. Now next part is this. There are 3 landmark cases, that is Re Virubari cases, K. Sabananda Bharati versus Union of India, S.R. Bonnai versus Union of India. Now for initial class we need not to remember here the citation of the case. The citation of the case is very important when you are preparing for UGC NET. So please remember the citation of the case. So for the Re Birubari case, you need to for the Re Birubari case, you need to remember 1960 that SC held that the Supreme Court held that preamble is not a part of the Constitution, but Kesavananda Bharati Union of India 1973, the Supreme Court held that the preamble is the basic structure of the Constitution of India. We will discuss about the basic structure of the Indian Constitution in the next part. Now in the next case, S.R. Bomnai versus Union of India 1994, Justice P.V. Sawan observed that democracy and federalism are essential features of our Constitution. Now in this case, it can be added as secularism. Secularism was discussed in this case and it was held that secularism is a part of the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. So, here let us write about secularism and it is contained in the basic structure of our Indian Constitution. Now, number 4 point that we have a sovereign state. Number 5 point we will discuss about socialist state. Number 6 we will discuss about secular state. So in the 4th point of the salient feature of Indian Constitution, I have covered here the sovereign state. So India is independent from the British government. We know that. We have attained independence on 15th of August 1947. Now India has its own government and they have their own administering power. In the second point, we can see that externally and internally also sovereignty is there. Now in the next point, socialist state. So the socialist word has inserted in preambles by the Constitution 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Socialist state means social and economic equality. So the expression socialist in the preamble has been added by taking the views of Marx and Gandhi. India has a mixed economy. Now social here means there is no discrimination. No discrimination. And economic means the wealth is distributed equally among all the people of India. Now in the next part, there is secular state. So India has a secular state and has no religion of its own. It treats all the religion equally, that we know, and it has been inserted in the preambles by the 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Therefore, the 42nd Amendment Act is called as mini constitution. We need to remember this will a very good question in the competitive exam, that the 42nd Amendment Act is the mini constitution. Now in this case, S.R. Bomnai versus Union of India 1949. Now in this case, S.R. Bomnai versus Union of India 1994, Supreme Court held that secularism is the basic feature of the Indian Constitution. We have discussed it earlier. the secularism has been aided in the basic feature of the Indian Constitution. Now coming in the next point, number 7, democratic state. So if we see, the democracy has been divided into two: direct democracy, indirect democracy. India has indirect form of democracy. Now India has a responsible parliamentary form of government. So here people elect their representatives to form the government, and the rulers or the representatives are responsible towards the people. Justice, liberty, equality, fraternity are essentials and characteristic feature of democracy that is declared in the preamble of the Indian Constitution. Now in the next part, we can see the republic state. The concept of republic we have already discussed in the previous part 1, that it is borrowed from the Constitution of France. Now the elected head of the state. Okay, the elected head of the state here in India is President of India. He is also known as the executive head, and it is under Article 52 of the Indian Constitution. Here the head of the state is not hereditary monarch, so he is not selected from the monarchy. It is elected head of the state, and he is also the chief executive head. So here I have written that the President of India is the elected head of the state, which is they have a fixed tenure. Now the people has the power to elect their own representatives. That we have already discussed in the democratic state, that people has the power to elect their own representatives, and these representatives form the government. Now in the next part, number 9, we have discussed about parliamentary form of government. So we know that we have a parliament, and the parliament has two houses, that is the upper house, the Rajya Sabha, lower house, the Lok Sabha. But what forms the parliamentary form of government? We have to discuss President. Number 2, Rajya Sabha. Number 3, Lok Sabha. So whenever the question comes, what are the two houses of parliament? We have to discuss about the upper house and lower house. But if the question comes, what forms the parliament of our government, Parliament of India, then we have to write the President, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha. Okay, and this parliament form of government has been taken from Britain. Okay, so it is they has a responsibility to legislate laws stated. Okay, now in the number 10 point, it is a directive principle of state policy. Now it is in the part 4 of the Indian Constitution and start from Article 36 to 51. Okay, so the responsibility of DSP is under the state, under the hand of the state. They have to implement the provisions of part 4 of the Indian Constitution. Now the concept of welfare. The concept of welfare is related with directive principle of state policy. So here you can study here you can learn that the concept of a welfare state is strengthened by DPSP, that is the directive principle of state policy, which set out the economic, social, political goals of the Indian constitutional system. Okay, now in the number 11 points, it is fundamental duties. This concept of fundamental duties has been taken from Russia. Okay, and it has been inserted in the Indian Constitution by 42nd Amendment Act in the part 4A, and the article is Article 51A. But we can see that Article 51A now has 11 duties, And the last duty, that is the K, has been aided by 86 Amendment Act. So the part 1 of the Indian Constitution cover Article 1 to 4. So the first article is the name and the territory of India. So we know that there are 28 states and 8 union territories in India. India, that is Bharat, shall be the union of state. We have to remember this word Bharat. India is also called as Bharat. In the first schedule of the Indian Constitution, the states and UTs has been specified. Now in the clause 3 of Article 1, it is given the territory of India is comprised of states, union territories that are specified in the first schedule, and the other territories that have been acquired or that may be acquired by the India. Now in the Article 2, it is given about admission and establishment of the new states. The power has been vested in Parliament to admit or to establish new states. So we have to remember only this part, that is that Parliament has been empowered to admit or to establish new states. Now in the next part, in Article 2A, you can see that Sikkim to be associated with a union has been omitted by this Constitution Amendment Act, that is the 36 Amendment Act 1975 had omitted this Article 2A. Now in Article 3, formation of new states and alteration of areas, boundaries or names of existing states has been discussed. So here also you can see that Parliament is empowered to do that. Okay, so establishment, then admission of new state is under the hand of Parliament and it is provided in Article 3. Here also formation of new states, alteration of areas, boundaries or name of the existing states is covered under Article 3. So you can see that it can form new state by separating a territory from any state. You can take an example of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Now uniting states. So here you can see that 2 or more parts of state has been united and has formed a new state and can increase or diminish the boundaries of the state and can alter the name of the state. So the name of the state can be changed whenever the Parliament may make some law. Here in this Article 3 Clause 1, the state includes both states and union territories. Now the provision of the Article 3 provides that no bill for the purpose shall be introduced in either house of the Parliament. So the bill or the law that has been made by the Parliament to form, unit, increase, diminish, alter, it should not be introduced in the either house of the Parliament, that is the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. But whenever this kind of bill affects the area, boundaries and the name of any state, then the president can refer to the state legislature to give their views within a specified period. So a time limit will be given to that state legislature who has been affected by the bill, and within the specified period they have to give their views. But whenever the specified period expired, then the president may extend that period, and within that period they have to give their views. And this provision of Article 3 has been substituted by the Constitution 5th Amendment Act 1955. Now let's go to the next part, that is Article 4. Article 4. Laws made under Article 2 and 3. We have already discussed about Article 2 and 3 for the amendment of the first and the fourth schedule and supplemental incidental and consequential matters or provisions are added by the Parliament. So these provisions are added after making any law under Article 2 and 3. And these provisions are added by simple majority. So the amendment here, what is provided under Article 4, is not considered to be the amendment under Article 368. We have to remember this point, is very essential. So for today's video, I have covered the salient feature of the Indian Constitution and from Article 1 to 4. Hope you like this video. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any problem regarding Indian Constitution, please comment below. Thank you.